What's up, guys? I am going to re-chart my SPY chart for the week. As you can see, it gets very, very cluttered with lines and trend lines and supply and support zones, and these were really great zones for the week. Um, but sometimes I like to just get a fresh slate. Um, I remember before it used to be kind of scary to do because like, oh man, all this work that I did and these levels that were respected, I don't want to lose them. Well, if you know how to chart and those zones actually were respected, they will show themselves easily again. So I'm gonna do this. When I start to when I'm trying to find some supply and demand zones and support and resistance and what all that means. I usually just take the EMAs off, so I have a kind of a naked chart to start with. I typically like to start on the weekly level. And really, there's no reason for me right now to be marking like this level or this level or this level, unless I was looking to swing something, right? Like if I was looking to swing uh, long spy, I'd run like a fib here, right, and look for okay, hey, well, 50% retracement is around 342. Let's mark that and go from there. But I'm looking for intraday moves and what's relevant in this area in this week. So I'm looking really in this zone right here. Um, so I'm going to start by marking this swing high, essentially. Um, this 410 we knew was resistance. We knew that from the weekly downtrend here. I'm actually not even going to mark that level. It's too far away. Um, but that's where I would be looking for resistance initially. But this is a weekly level, so what week is significant? Well, this bottom of this last week, right? The week before. This bottom to me will be significant to see what direction we may be going in the next 5 days. As I'm worried about in the next few days. And if you see, this is a nice area of support and resistance. Anyways, I'm gonna mark this rejection here. Purple is my weekly color. I like that one. Okay, drop down to the daily. I take this rejection. So you can kind of already see in this last few weeks, uh, this top and this bottom, right? It broke out of it, came back down to this range, broke out of it, came back down to this range, and you got this kind of squeeze action and right back down to this range. So this whole area is kind of like a big consolidation area. Um, 390, 398 range, right? So I'm looking for how can I make money even within this range. If one of these breaks, maybe we can get a bigger move, but um, my thesis is that big money is accumulating uh, large amounts of puts for this thing to go down. But it really doesn't matter what I think. I'm not swinging anything. I just have a bearish bias, so I'm looking more to kind of short things that pop up. Um, but let's look at some supply and demand areas. I like to drop down to the hourly, the daily and the hourly. Sometimes I'll draw it on the daily and then kind of try to make those zones tighter and tighter and tighter. What I'm looking for are these wicks like this. See how these two candles, these wicks, kind of coincide with each other, meaning buyers got exhausted, right? One, two, three times in the past 2 weeks. Buyers are not stepping up anymore, and it's bringing the price back down. So I see that. Um, but I'm going to go back to the hourly and look even this past week. What makes sense? So look at this, rejected that weekly, and we are gonna try and find stuff that makes sense. So these touches here make sense. Look at all these wicks. See these wicks? Wicks, wicks, wicks. All this is sellers exhausting and buyers are stepping up. Buyers are stepping up, protecting this level, protecting this level, protecting this level. End of this day of Friday, I mean, look at this massive dump to it. So it'll be important how SPY opens up above or below this. I would expect that it maybe comes above it, but then Bulls got to protect it. You can easily see this flushing to 390 and below. So this level to me is going to be significant. So I'm going to draw this area. I like to try and draw it for the week, so then I don't have to touch it again unless things, change. So this area right now is 393.74 to 393.30, so about a 40-cent zone so far. And then I'll try to look to see can it get any tighter. But I mean, look how beautiful these wicks are to the top and bottom of the zone all over. I think I'll leave it at that. Okay. So I will draw that. I'm making it yellow because this is going to be more kind of in the middle area, a mutual area. Not sure exactly. Um, this isn't super bearish, super bullish. Obviously, to me, below this will be bearish, above it will be bullish to the next supplier demand zone. But um, you'll see what I do with some of the other colors. So now looking for the support above. Obviously, you got um, this top area. What I also look for is these big candles, right? Big volume, big move candles. See these? This is a perfect example. This this zone that's been significant for a while. If you had this thing charted because of these wicks going into this week, this is what you're looking for is out of this zone you get this massive move, right? That makes this zone very significant. Does that make sense? If you charted it just from these three times here, which I would have, right? You could have caught that. It comes back down. It breaks this, right? And you're not getting. Luckily, it broke this, kind of rebroke it, pre-market broke it. So it's supply and demand, right? People are they're fighting this area. Who's going to win this area? Bulls break out of it, and you get this move up, right? And then it comes right back down. So very short-lived. This move up here from this zone couldn't break this pivot. So to me, it's bearish. Um, all right, so top zone. I I don't need to go as high as 400. I'm not that concerned there, but this top zone, I kind of like it rejecting. If it is bearish, it's not even gonna test highs again. It's not gonna maybe even test this pivot. It'll make a lower high. which can be possibly be this area here. Yeah. Now some targets. 390 definitely is a target, remember, weekly level. But what kind of area will we get some action in? Go back to the daily. We got this gap to fill down here. What is that? 392. It's an interesting area. See what that looks like. $392.54. It's a little big. So this whole zone was from that daily pivot, you know, back then, but intraday, we'll see interweek. I'm gonna bring this down. Might even bring it down to this 390. Really, this 390 is target. I'm gonna actually bring it down to this. Yep, that's it. So all the way back to 9-1, you got this demand zone, demand zone. Very short-lived breaking it. Massive move up from it. Massive move down through it. Retest it. See the upper wick on the daily. Can't hold it. Flush. And once it breaks that, look at this momentum down. I mean, this is a long time ago. Gets back up to it. Big resistance. Big flushing. Breaks through it. You get the run up. Comes back and tests it. You get a new high. High or low. You get the 410 weekly rejection trendline tap. So that's going to be my bottom zone. I'm making, most people do green on the bottom or so for their heads, but I'm telling myself if it gets down here, um, you should buy. uh, Actually, end up here in green. I should take profit. And if this does break, it's gonna get bloody. That's how I typically have it. Red telling me to take profit, green telling me to start buying. Yellow's kind of that mutual. And then I have usually put a blue line, a blue one if I have another zone I wanna play. So this is a good range for the week. If these weeklies break, let's go back to the weekly. This week, low break. This rejection, this weekly high, break this way. We will get a bit more big action. Um, we were watching this daily bear flag play out. Um, right, sorry here. This daily bear flag, which which rejected. Um, the play out is if it's going to come down and test the bottom of this flag, essentially, 391, 62. If this holds, it can be bullish, but most likely I see this at least breaking down here, and if not, really, really playing out, coming down and filling this gap. So that's what I like to play with in the week, but I do like to find um, what are these other targets if this does break. This 389 will be the first set of resistance or support, sorry. Is a weekly level. I'm gonna put just this little daily zone could be ultimate target for the week. And this gap fill, obviously. This will tell me to start taking profits right before the gap because there's gonna be support there. I'm not looking to catch the whole move of anything. Um, so that's my support and resistance. Then I may come in and draw, you know, these daily trend lines. The problem is um, when you go down to a smaller time frame, it doesn't line up like this. The candles are all messed up, and then it just kind of gets in the way of intraday action. Like I know we are in this downtrend. Like I don't need to draw it, um, but I may draw it like this on the daily and then delete it. Because I'll like to have more of a, you know, when I come here, I can draw these intraday things like this trend line, right? It's more significant. Um, so now I'm on the 10 minute, right? Now I'm gonna get a little bit more detailed. Um, what happened today? It didn't even make it to this point, so maybe this area is the actual. Maybe it doesn't break this area. Maybe it doesn't break this area. Um, that's this week. So what I'm looking for is if this we do open above this yellow zone, it can have some support and come back up. Um, and it also can fail it and not get up to here. So I'm looking for an area in this what can be that, right? What can be that risk spot if I choose so. Right, you got this massive, look at all this consolidation that happened, kind of rocked us to sleep before the dump. So I would imagine that being a good area for it to not get over. Let's see here. That one's so big. The fuck? Was I drawing it from way over here? Wow. Okay, hold on. I'm okay with that. So look to see when it gets to these areas, how is it reacting to them? Um, let's draw these lines. I draw these lines on Webull so then I can see the price over here. And if it aligns with the weekly level, I'll just leave that weekly level color there so I know. So I think I'm good. Why is this so zoomy? Okay. So I think I'm good with those zones. I got a target to the bottom. And then we will adjust as the days go on. All right. Well, yeah, that's how I will try to prepare for the week. I'll turn my EMAs back on and tomorrow morning wake up and see what the price action is like at these levels. So, hope that helps just how my mind works and getting used to this supply and demand combined with support and resistance and then play the EMAs off of that. All right. Let's have a good week.